podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
It's Aaron, your favorite unfiltered mess. Spitting takes so raw, they'll make your grandma stress. Is this, that, and the other? Life, politics, the whole damn scene. Whatever crosses my mind, or whatever I saw on my screen. Ooh, movies to munchies, games to the grind. Interviews flowing, this is starting to sound like a date, ain't it? Dinner, drink, sports, wait, you buying? If not, tough luck, my opinion still flying. No script, no filter, just pure chaos bliss. I might offend your auntie or your therapist. Society's clown show, yeah, I'm ringing the bell. If it's stupid, it's sacred, well, it had to be said. What the hell? Buckle up, buttercup, the mic's getting reckless. I had to say it. Now, pass the tissues for the trigger.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Javier, Fitz McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the Weathered Soul Media Group, to Kate, the Duchess of New Jersey, who would definitely pick this show over another show that was going on hiatus, to Boomer Bob, to George Fonts of the World of Blaze podcast, to Billy G, to Josh from New Hampshire, to the fine folks over at Clackema Craft Coffee, Bill and Dana, and to Lisa, my supporter from down in Texas. I love you guys all dearly. You're wonderful human beings. You're better looking than the average person. You're smarter, you're more fun to be around, and you are just joys to interact with on a daily basis. I appreciate you all so much. If you would like to be having me blow smoke up your ass with the rest of these fine folks, feel free to go over to ihadtosayitpodcast.com and click on the Support Us link, where I actually might have changed it to the Gimme Money page, because let's be honest, it's begging, and I'm going to say it's funnier if I say it that way. And you can sign up to go to Patreon, or you can go to Buy Me a Coffee and throw me a few ducats, and then I'll say something nice about you too. But honestly, I do consider the people that support the show friends, not just listeners. I mean, I interact with 90% of you guys on a regular basis on social media, and let's face it, in today's day and times, that it counts as friendship as far as I'm fucking concerned. So, yeah, that's the thank you guys for listening part. Now, there's going to be a couple little light housekeeping things here before I get too involved in it. I do have a couple things on deck that I want to bitch and whine about, but I also didn't get a chance to grab a recipe today. Again, you know, the poor planning, the not being prepared to do this show, that it's not like I do it every fucking week for the last 6 years, that I should be ready for this. But, you know, real life tends to intervene, and as such, yeah, I'll come up with something. I don't know. We did artisan water. We did, I don't know. We'll come up with something else good before. I'll think about it. I'll come up with something entertaining. But anyway, so first piece of housekeeping, and I don't really know who this is going to impact out of my, you know, tens of listeners that tune in every week. I am most likely going to be removing the show from Spotify completely. Now, I can hear you saying to yourself already, Aaron, why would you do such a thing? This is where I listen to my podcasts. This is where I listen to you. How will I find you if you're not available on Spotify? Well, see, here's the thing. I got a bug put in my ear by a friend of the show, John Jamingo, who brought something to my attention that I was unaware of, because, let's be honest, I don't treat this nearly as seriously as most of my podcasting compatriots and friends do, because, again, that's why I don't mind that Kate would only choose me over a show that's going on hiatus, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, I don't take this shit seriously, and I don't expect anyone else to either. But so it was brought to my attention via the Boomer Bunker that you should all be listening to on a regular basis, and enjoying and appreciating the dynamics between John and Kate, and the interactions with the audience in the chat during the live recording of their show. And apparently, Spotify is no longer content to just get a shit ton of free content from people like myself. As anybody who listens on Spotify understands, I don't monetize this show. I get a few bucks from the wonderful people that I name at the beginning of every episode that throw a few bucks in the kitty every month, to borrow the bunker phrase, and that's it. I'm not doing this to make money. I do this to vent my spleen and avoid having a fucking ulcer. So at the end of the day, since I started the show back during the amazing podcast boom of the COVID days, I have hosted via Spotify because it was free. I never intended this to be a business venture or a way to make money. It was a hobby. It was a way for me to, interact with other humanity when we were all living in our houses and not being allowed to go outside and make friends and do normal things and just fucking live. And like so many people that were laid off at the time, I had nothing else. This was my anchor to humanity. This is what kept me in touch with other fucking people. But I was also unemployed, so I didn't have money to be thrown at this fucking hobby. So I went with Spotify simply because they were it was Anchor FM, which was bought out by Spotify, and Spotify took over and got tens of thousands of podcasts in the process, most of which are dead as fucking coffin nails. And subsequently, they built this massive catalog of content that, for the vast majority of the shows on Spotify, their monetization program, as far as I'm concerned, sucks donkey fucking wang, because if you're a little guy like me, you don't really do the kind of numbers where that pays out to more than a few cents per fucking episode. And I, for one, hate listening to a show that is interrupted by, say 3 to 5 fucking commercials in the middle of whatever the host is talking about, because they use AI to wedge their ads in there. Then it's not like they're put in any kind of way that flows organically with the podcast. So all of a sudden you're listening to somebody go off, you're starting to get really into it, and boom, there's a fucking commercial for a herpes cream or whatever the fuck it is that they want to stick in your ads. For some odd reason, I always get ads based on Ireland, which, fuck me, I don't know why. I live in Illinois. But I always get ads for shit going on in Ireland anytime I get an ad on a channel, on a show that's on Spotify. I can't explain it. I just know that's the case. So I don't insert ads into my show. I'm not monetized. I do not receive any compensation from Spotify. I figure it's a fair exchange of getting out in front of those 10 to 20 people every fucking episode for the free hosting. Howsoever, it has been brought to my attention, thanks John, that apparently Spotify has decided that just dicking over creators and selling ad space in their shows without really giving them dick in exchange and in return for their free hosting, or, if you're hosted via not them, they still stick in ads at the beginning and the ends of the episodes. They can't interject, but they can have, after the show's over, it plays an ad on your Spotify app. So they're still, monetizing and generating revenue off of content they're not fucking paying for. But now they've decided to start striking shows that have music in the background. If there's any chance of a DCMA claim on it, they're ignoring fair use. They're ignoring fucking, even original content that has been generated. Anything that sounds classical, anything that sounds like background music, anything that could possibly sound like something similar. People that use high production value shows, people that put background music in their things, people who add sound effects and do all the things that Aaron is severely lacking in, because I never got into that aspect of things. And, like I said, doing what I do, I've established my tens of loyal listeners, and don't break what ain't broken. So I'm going to continue doing what I do, low production values, just honest, raw, me being me. And if you don't like it, you're more than welcome to not fucking come back. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate a well-produced show. The Boomer Bunker, Razor Wire, and then the one that really incised me to this whole situation, which was what set John off and basically launched a movement of saying we're all fucking quitting Spotify, is the Church of Lorenzo, formerly known as Misanthrope Radio 2.0, formerly known as Misanthrope Radio prior to that, as I understand it, although I did not meet Lorenzo until he started 2.0, but again, I digress. Lorenzo is somebody I consider a pal at this point. Lorenzo's a good dude. Lorenzo puts out an amazing fucking program. If you haven't listened to it, you're fucking lacking. You need to remedy that as soon as you're done listening to me rant and bitch. You need to go find the Church of Lorenzo, and it will have the Misanthrope Radio 2.0 back catalog as well as all of the new stuff. You need to listen to it. It's an amazing deal. I don't know. It may have all gotten yoinked by fucking Spotify for these DCMA flags because they're fucking with Lorenzo. And subsequently, fuck you, Spotify. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I'm going to take my free content. I'm going to move over to some other fucking host. And once I do that, I'm going to pull all of my back catalog off of Spotify. And I'm not going to stream any of my new episodes to Spotify because fuck Spotify. Now, I actually haven't informed my wife of this decision, and we do have a family plans for Spotify radio, so we may have to have a conversation about that, but I'm annoyed with Spotify. That I feel like we're getting something in exchange because I hate ads during my music. I like to be able to skip when I want to fucking skip. I don't like 6 skips per hour, so that's why I pay for it, but we may need to discuss finding an alternative source for our music. Now, I happen to like Spotify Selection as opposed to some of the other streaming services. I don't have any Apple products, so it will not be iTunes, just because I'm not buying a new fucking device so I can use a service. And, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. I'm at the point where I am on board with John. You fucked with Lorenzo, so fuck you, Spotify. And I guess that's kind of the housekeeping on that particular aspect of things. The next little piece of housekeeping is, and this is a totally unprompted thing that I just feel like doing it because, I feel like, I know I've mentioned a friend of the show, JD the Bot Guy, who has his channel, Forced Valor Radio. It's a YouTube channel. He does live streams now. I really think, I mean, I know you guys may not be as vested in the lore of like the Unsub podcast and the cast and crew of that and the usual suspects and Brandon Herrera, the AK guy, who is running for Congress in Texas, and I really hope he gets elected because he's actually, for being a young guy, he's a pretty bright fucking kid. He's doing it for all the right reasons. He's losing money to do this. He publicly stated from the day he ran that he's not going to trade any stocks while he's in office and a bunch of other things. And I actually believe the fucking kid. So for what that's worth, even if you're not into all of that, go check out Forced Valor Radio on YouTube. Watch the shows. JD's, this fucking close to hitting monetization on YouTube. And he puts so much work into these episodes, and they're so cool. If you're into history, anything from, like World War II and back, they're funny fucking stories. The fact that they all feature this improbable, basically like less retarded Forrest Gump character who just wanders through history having this massive impact on all these major fucking battles. And it's an extremely well executed show, and you need to go listen to it. And follow JD on X. He's doing a giveaway for some free gear. Like, look, Bot Guy hat. Oh, wrong side. Bot Guy hat. JD the Bot Guy, right? Cool. It just showed up, and I'm rocking this shit because it's a good looking hat. I like this hat. It's and then also this is for you, JD. I'm drinking out of my new mug. Now I don't know if you can tell. I got a big fucking head. Look at the size of this fucking coffee mug. Anybody that's been following the show since the start knows I happen to love my coffee mugs. I have an entire rack of like 32 coffee mugs hanging on the wall in the kitchen, and they're all podcast mugs. They're all different shows I've interacted with over the years. Like some of them were some free ones I won. Some of them are just ones that were, I've got a couple that were made for me by Jason over at Horrible Designs. And now I've got this behemoth of a fucking coffee mug. This coffee mug is a 20-ounce mug available at forcevalor.com that is, like I said, Forced Valor. It says Brandon Herrera on it. It's got, on the other side is the emotions of Brandon Herrera. And this has got like an entire can of my hydration drink in it. And it's still got room to top off if I wanted to, if I was feeling froggy, I wanted to put some bourbon in there. But I'm not going to do that today because I got to get up and go to work in the morning. But anyway, so yeah, that's the other little bit of maintenance since I'm out here plugging the homies, like I said. And, the usual suspects. Go check out the Weathered Soul Media Group. Get Road Rage 101. Go listen to the Boomer Bunker. Go find Razorwire to get actual quality reporting on current events, not just the ranty bullshit that comes out of me. Go see JD, go to Church of Lorenzo, do the things, find the shows. These are my homies, and I'm plugging them because I want to, not because anybody fucking asked me to or anything like that before anybody gets all up in their fucking wanks. Yeah, so that's going to be the plugging and endorsing and telling you guys what to do with your fucking spare time, because, time is one of those things. We've all got just unlimited time on our hands. So, the time you do have, you should use wisely, and you should listen. If you're listening to me, you should trust my judgment and go do these fucking things to enhance your wellness and your happiness and your quality of life. Be happy, live wonderfully, go do the things I've told you to do, and I won't think you're a fuck waffle. If you do those things, it's pretty simple. All right, so anyway, that is 15 minutes of me running my yap about shit that doesn't have anything to do with the world. It's just things I think you should do and live a better quality of life. I'm sorry, and yeah, I'm very thirsty at the moment. I'm probably a little dehydrated. It's been a long fucking day. So anyway, things that are going on in the world. Well, it's more of the same old bullshit. The president of the Flock Camera Corporation is still trying to act like his company isn't a massive infringement on your Fourth Amendment, on your privacy, on your right to not have fucking assholes knowing everything you're doing. He keeps trying to say that it's not a nanny state thing. It's not going to be abused. We're putting measures in place to make sure that it's not being abused. But they're also trying to sell all that data and encrypted data because they're on 24/7. They're not... It's not like they turn off. They're not just reading license plates. They're not just looking for missing kids. They're recording 24/7. I know Iceman's going to argue with me and say that they help him do his job, and I appreciate that, and I understand that. And Iceman's one of the people I actually trust with that access. But there's way more motherfuckers in this world that I don't trust than the ones that I do. The motherfuckers that are out there using the thing to stalk people they gave tickets to, using the fucking system to harass their exes, to do, to look at people's asses in public, whatever the fucking thing they're doing to abuse the system. And I don't like the fact that there's a database out there of everywhere that these things are that can just be parsed and sold to the highest fucking bidder, because it is a private company. It's not under the same strictures and limitations that the federal government would be under. Saying these things need to exist, but they should only be accessible with a fucking warrant, implies that you think the fucking people that have the reins of this shit aren't going to be shitbirds, and they're going to actually, not do this to make money. They're going to do it to fucking do the things because they have some moral compunction to only fight crime or whatever other lying horse shit they're going to put out there. Like I said, if I didn't think people sucked, maybe I wouldn't be so adverse to the system. But I do think people suck, and subsequently, fuck the system. So that's kind of my thing on that. He's still out there trying to act like he's not some massive shitbird trying to profit off of invasion of privacy. And he is. He keeps trying to paint himself like the good guy. He's failing fucking miserably. He's a fucking idiot. Villages, counties, towns are just, with all the backlash, they're pulling out of the contracts, but they're still leaving the fucking cameras up and they're still on, even though they're not getting paid anymore. So, gee, they must be doing something with that fucking data. Color me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, ask me if there's foil in the lining of this lovely chapeau I'm wearing. But at the end of the day, that's the way it fucking is. That's the long and the short of it. That's the fact of the matter. So, yeah, I don't like it. I don't really care for it. Now, there were a couple other things that did hold my attention. And I don't have like deep resonating thoughts on really anything this week. I've been very focused on my day job for the last several days. We just little inside baseball as to why Aaron's being a little flaky this week. We had we had a third-party audit come through. Apparently, they come through about once a quarter, so that means I'll get to see this nice lady again in 3 months. So, or anytime between now and then, they just turn up when they feel like turning up. Basically, it's like, hey, surprise! Let's make sure your shit's not fucked up. Now, fortunately, I run a pretty tight ship, so it's not like the auditor showing up is a problem normally per se. I mean, as long as I look at it like this. As long as I'm doing my job and my staff is doing their jobs, an auditor showing up should just be a mild inconvenience. It shouldn't be anything to panic about. It shouldn't be anything to worry about. It shouldn't be anything that's going to cause a massive issue in the day-to-day operations of my facility. That being said, this was an audit where I have an auditor coming in, and I have just assumed control of this facility a couple of months ago. I'm still doing all kinds of catching up. I'm still trying to figure out where things are. I'm still trying to make sure we're doing things properly and running things the right way. And I can verify and confirm that we've been doing that the entirety of the time I've been there. However, there's always that chance that the auditor is going to ask for documentation for shit that happened before I took over the position. That was what I was stressing out about, because the chef I replaced in a lot of ways left me over a fucking barrel. So I was really kind of stressing out about how this was going to work. And instead, so that's honestly where my attention has been for the last, 72 hours. And then just because God, nature, the universe, whatever you want to fucking call it, whatever you believe in, I know where my chips lay, but again, neither here nor there, has a sense of humor. The audit was today, and I had to shut my kitchen down today because we had a plumbing issue, and we had no drainage in the building, so we couldn't wash, rinse, sanitize, do all the things that you have to do. So I'm legally obligated at that point to shut the kitchen down. No production, no feeding anybody, no nothing, no nada. So, I mean, it kind of worked to my advantage, because it wasn't so bad that there was any flooding anywhere, but all the floor drains were visibly compromised, so we couldn't open today. So the kitchen was fucking spotless when the auditor showed up, because we weren't in the middle of production like we would have normally been on a Tuesday. So, so that all kind of, decompressed everything, made everything go nicey. But that's also, like I said, that's where most of my attention has been focused lately. So, like I said, there's some things that are going on in the world, but nothing that's really like nothing I have a lot of really deep issues with. Nothing that's going to really hold my attention, that's going to be ridiculously out of control or anything like that. There, like I said, there's some things going on, but at the end of the day, it's none of it is like, I don't have any like earth-shattering ideas about this, that, or the other. It's just, here's what's going on in the world, and here's, the usual bullshit. And here's my thoughts on what's going on in the world. So, and a lot of it's, a lot of stuff that I've been looking at has been more locally impacted. We've got the fucking retard commies at the CTU out here, threatening to sue different organizations, talking about they're not getting the funding they deserve, and why are we holding the children's futures hostage, and all these things that they're doing to try and help and justify things for the students. And meanwhile, completely ignoring the fact that their budget is like $55 billion fucking dollars, and they have an absolutely retarded amount of administrators and worthless fucks that do nothing to do anything for the kids. They just exist, and they're commie retards. That's literally all they fucking do. And then we've got Brandon Johnson out here trying to stump around like it's, the federal government's fault that Chicago's a giant fucking shithole. And it's just, there's just so much fluff this week. There's nothing really that jumped out to me and was just like, hey, these are the amazing fucking things that people are going to want to hear your thoughts on. I mean, there's so much trite shit to me that, like, to my own ears, it sounds like, Aaron, why the fuck would you talk about? Who fucking cares? I mean, dumb shit. AOC broke up with her fucking beard, her little, rich white guy that she, because white guy bad. So, I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not. I can't remember the timeline very well. But, she broke up with her rich white guy because, she's probably trying to get ready to make a run for the next fucking presidential election, because nothing says, presidential like a fucking bartender that can't string together two coherent thoughts in a fucking row, but she's got great tits. So let's focus on, she's going to slay queen all the way to the White House. I'm sure that'll work out really fucking well for him, because sticking the old whore into office didn't work, obviously. So now they're going to try to stick a young fucking whore in office. And, and she's like, oh, well, she's making this, I don't know if her handlers think this is a good look, or if she's just gone off the fucking res because she got rid of her fucking white guy. So now she's making this really big social media showing of like, oh, hey, guess what? I'm harvesting some eggs and having them frozen just so I can have a kid later on. And this stupid mouth-breathing fucking cunt is just, it's like she picked up where she was before somebody scooped her up and said, here, we're going to try and steer you into fucking Congress. She's back to being a fucking just mouth-breathing jackass. And there's people out there, oh, well, she's out and now she's going to be doing her, we got to wait and see who she comes up with. And I'm like, who the fuck cares? At the end of the day, I know more about this worthless sack of tits than I want to. I've listened to the different shows where people are debating, oh, dude, she's hot. Now, she's got nice cans. I wouldn't say she's fucking hot. She's got like fucking Mr. Ed face. She's got fucking big buck teeth, fucking long face, crazy fucking eyes, and every time she opens her fucking mouth, my dick goes soft for 6 months. It's I don't ever have to worry about a goddamn thing in the world as far as like, saying, hey, people think she's hot and da-da-da. Nope, just she is such a fucking boner killer in terms of she is too goddamn stupid to be allowed to be around. She is not the kind of person that should be in anything resembling a fucking position of authority in this fucking country. She should not be. The fact that she is a legitimately considered candidate for the president of the United States sickens me. She's completely leaning into the DSA bullshit. I mean, she is a fucking worthless sack of tits commie because she runs around with fucking Bernie, and all she does is just this worthless sack of tits who got hired through a cattle call. She's literally an actress playing a role, and these dumb motherfuckers line up and they're, oh my god, yes, slay queen, go girl, oh yes, empowerment, yes, oh, socialism's the future, it's democratic socialism, it's not fucking communism because it sounds better because we use the word democratic, so it sounds like it's for the people, but guess what, when you're in the fucking breadlines, you're still going to be starving, you stupid fucks. So it's a literal case of we've got this worthless sack of tits who now seems to think everybody needs to see into her fucking lives. So she's doing like her cleaning protocols to get ready for her egg harvesting, where she's like doing little videos of her for taking the shot to prep up to get her eggs to drop so they can harvest them. And I know, actually, now that I think about it, I know I've said this before because I remember saying this fact. I said that the egg harvesting is a painful process, and I hope whoever does it fucks up and it hurts. I said that last week, and now that I'm started, I remember. And so yes, I've addressed this before. I still hate that bitch. She still infuriates me. I still think she needs to be, hit by a bus that fell out of the fucking sky. I don't want it to make sense. I just want it to be done. I can't stand her. The idea that she might fucking somehow retard her way into the fucking White House infuriates me on a level where it's like, I already have a really low fucking bar for humanity, and these goddamn mouth breathing, oh, we're the future, No, it's like, these are the people where I think this is why I think the voting age should be like 30. And yes, I believe you should have ID, you should prove you're a citizen, you should prove you were born, more than 25 fucking years ago, because everybody under that age is fucking retarded. Okay, now there might be some exceptions, There's always exceptions to every fucking rule. There's always a case of, yes, there are people who could say things like, oh, well, Aaron, weren't you, how you were young once upon a time too. Would you have liked to have your voting rights? You know what? Yes, because I'll be the first one to admit, when I was in my early to mid 20s, I was a fucking idiot. I made so many bad decisions based on fucking flawed ideals, logic that didn't fucking work, and just a twisted version of how fucking reality should be, not how the real world actually functions, because I didn't have enough experience under my belt yet, and I probably had more bullshit going on in my life anyway, that where I was probably on an accelerated curve due to bad choices I made and consequences I had to fucking face prior to the situation changing and leading gradually and eventually to where I am today. I will never say that, the life I lived was a bad thing because it led to the life I have. Howsoever, I will be the first one to admit that when I was in my early 20s, I was a fucking moron. And realistically, I think that applies pretty much across the fucking board. And honestly, at the end of the day, I was probably still smarter than 90% of the fucking kids my own age. I was one of those people who I could not stand my fucking peers. Individuals that were relatively close to my own age, even a couple of years older, irritated the fuck out of me from the time I was like 15 until I was fucking 30. And honestly, a lot of people still irritate me to this fucking day. So it's not a case of like, well, Aaron, you're just getting old and thinking kids are stupid. Now, no, I thought they were fucking stupid when I was in that classification. It's just taken, a lot of people longer to catch up as far as I'm fucking concerned. And yeah, so we've got these fucking entitled idiots out there. Oh, socialism's the future. Socialism's the way. This is how things are going to, everything I want is a right, and everything I don't think people should have is a fucking just greed and selfishness. And, billionaires shouldn't exist because keeping the things that you fucking earned is unfair to people who don't want to get off their fucking asses and contribute to society. I should be able to hang around and have my lesbian interpretive dance circle on Tuesdays, and that should be qualifying me to survive. I should be able to have food, and I should be able to have shelter, and I should be able to have all the nice, shiny fucking things that I want from life, because being happy is a right. Being fed is a right. And why is it every time you see one of these fucking people, like there's one of the fucking cunts under Mondami's administration in New York, the fucking, champagne socialist fucking retards that are in there. This fucking bitch got up in front of on a podium talking about people shouldn't be going to jail for stealing toothpaste and toothbrushes, and people should be able to have the things they need, and people should be able to have food. They can't help it if they're in a position where they have to steal it. And why is it these fucking retarded, brain-dead cunts that are out here advocating for the dregs of society to be normalized, to say, oh no, you don't have to go out and earn your living, you just can have the things you want. So it's not a crime to steal shit that doesn't belong to you because you need those things, so you should not go to jail for stealing, because it's not fair that the greedy corporations are making you pay for the shit that you couldn't facilitate or create on your fucking own. Why is it they look like a fucking poorly drawn, like you get a 10-year-old and said, draw a fat retarded bitch, and that's what's behind the fucking microphone. It's always some bloated land fucking whale, and no sense of irony. I'm fully aware of what I look like. I'm working on it. There's muscle under there. I'm strong. I'm getting stronger every week. Well, maybe not. I've been kind of slacking. I'm more in like a maintenance phase right now because I can't really go to the gym every day like I want to at the moment. So instead, I'm more in like a trying to maintain the strength instead of building the strength to where I can get back to being fucking terrifying. And if somebody pisses me off, I can pick them up and walk them out of the fucking room. I mean, I probably still could because adrenaline's a motherfucker, and I've always been good under that respect. But there was a time where I could pick a grown-ass man up with one arm, and I need to get back to that shit. But anyway, I digress. Why is it these leftist fucking retards who think everything should be free, who think, feelings and emotions offset reality because they want hard enough? Why do they always look just so fucking unhealthy and pasty and bloated and fat and disgusting? Every last one of them looks like they fucking stink. And they're out there just, people need to steal toothpaste. It shouldn't be a crime. No, cunt, they're not stealing toothpaste. They're stealing everything. You go into any of these fucking stores that are getting robbed blind by fucking teen takeovers and whatever other bullshit they're using to excuse this horse shit. The people that are just trying to feed their families. Toothpaste and toothbrushes are probably the last fucking thing to go. They're probably still on the fucking shelves. The fucking personal hygiene aisle is usually probably in pretty good fucking shape. So, you don't feed me this shit, you fat, pasty fucking cunt. Just grow the fuck up, get a job, contribute to society, or go somewhere and take the self-delete option. I for one, a lot of people are sitting there will say, oh, you should talk to somebody. There's people out there that care. There's people out there that want to keep you alive. I really don't think that suicide prevention is necessarily the right fucking answer in our society anymore. I really think that we should have like a number, like not 911, but say like 914, something little and something simple where we, I'm feeling pretty sad about my life and I think I might, take myself out. And instead of, trying to talk them down, you give them fucking suggestions and you point out things like, you know what, if you're going to do it, go the fuck outside. So think about the people who have to clean that shit up, okay? Don't do it where your landlord's going to have to repaint the walls and replace the flooring. Go somewhere where the cleanup's going to be easy. Do it in the fucking bathtub so they can just rinse your fat ass down the fucking drain. Go out into a fucking field so this fucking, at least nature can do something useful with you because you're a non-contributory sack of fuck and you realistically don't, maybe in death you can do what you failed to do in life and provide use to the fucking universe. Maybe the fucking scavengers can come. Maybe the maggots can be laid in your eyes and you can provide flies to the country because they tend to generate off of massive piles of shit. So maybe at the end of the day, that's the service we really need. We don't, I'm not saying like, I don't like Canadian maids. I don't agree with that system at all because they're abusing the system because they have, national health care and, another strong commie talking point. Well, the government should be handling healthcare. Healthcare is a right. Healthcare is a privilege. Healthcare should be free for everybody, regardless of your ability to pay for it, because It's a right. It's everybody should have the right to health care. And the fact that other people need to have a set of skills and to have time and effort and labor and knowledge to make sure you can have access to these things, those people's rights to, be fairly compensated for their skill set, that doesn't matter, because you should have a right to health care, because it's otherwise that's not fair. If you have to, pay for your medical care, that's not fair, because maybe you don't have the ability to pay. Well, then guess what? You don't fucking deserve it, because at the end of the day, the system does exist. There is a safety net in place, and if you think it's a good idea to give more control to that government, Medicare, Medicaid, all that other shit, well, obviously, if you think that's a good idea, you've probably never been on public aid, or else you're one of these new generation lazy, entitled fucks who seem to think everything the government does is great and you should have it all handed to you, because you've never actually had to deal with the private sector stuff, and so you've never actually successfully adulted. So you've either been on your parents' fucking coverage your entire fucking life, and you're still probably on it, and that's where you're speaking from all these pontifications of, well, healthcare's a right. The fact that I'm 24 and still on my parents' coverage, I know better that we can do that. But oh no, the fucking so yeah, I'm saying this as someone who recently had to swallow their pride and apply for public aid because I lost my job and I lost our coverage, and Sean and I both need to, maintain our health stuff. I have medications I have to take to, not fucking die. So I had to swallow my pride and, apply for public aid. So I know exactly what a fucking shit show it is. You want to know what a shit show it is? I had a doctor's appointment this week. I went to the doctor's appointment, and despite the fact that I canceled my public aid the day my private insurance started back up, the public aid insurance is still active apparently. So it's a case of, the fact that I told them it was canceled. I mean, the doctor's office is like, well, it still says it's active. You want to do something about that? I'm like, oh, fucking phenomenal. So with the way my luck works, the state of Illinois is going to fucking back bill me for all the shit they've, they're going to claim. I mean, every medical claim I've had at the doctor's, I've told them use the new insurance. So theoretically, they shouldn't be billing the state for shit, but, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, so, but anybody who's actually had to deal with the state and their degree of incompetence in managing these things wouldn't be advocating for this shit if they had any kind of self-respect or common sense. And so basically that's, anybody who does advocate for this shit, I don't take seriously. And then you get the fucking retards in office that use their Medicare for All as a talking point. Like, oh, well, the billionaires shouldn't have any, they could fund health care for all the Americans. Well, you know what? Here's the thing about that. These are people who have also never experienced government-run fucking health care, with the exception of the fact that the Senate and Congress and all the drones do actually have government-run healthcare, but it's not the government-run healthcare that everybody else in the fucking system gets. They have no co-pays, they have no out-of-pocket expenses. Everything the bill is footed by the American taxpayer. So to them, they don't see a fucking problem with it because they get top-tier care without spending a fucking dime. And they don't see, and they know that if they get their bullshit passed, they're not going to dilute their own resources. They're still going to get the top tier shit at the government at the taxpayer's dime. Now, you, me, and every other motherfucker out there, we're going to get the trash, and doctors are going to quit at large because dealing with the government's a fucking miserable proposition, no matter where you cut it. So, again, I don't understand how these things are even still on the table, but the lack of stupidity is, or the marked stupidity is very, I'm not shocked. I never, I am never disappointed when I have low expectations of humanity. That's probably the best way I can put it. The stupidity of the species is boundless. I think what Einstein said, that there's only two things in the world that are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on this. So, yeah, so that was my thoughts on that stuff. What else? Like I said, there's other things. It's a case of, you've still got all these leftist retards that are out there, and they're pissing and moaning about ICE. ICE needs to be abolished and blah, 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 blah. No, the illegals need to go. And there's more cases of fucking leftist retards out there stumping for various illegals that are getting themselves fucked up by either trying to fight or trying to flee when ICE comes to arrest them. You're like, oh, well, this Virginia resident was beaten up by ICE because when they came to deport him because he's under a standing deportation order, he tried to flee, and then when they caught him, he tried to fight him, and they kicked the shit out of him. Well, you know what? You want to avoid that. You have the chance to self-deport. You don't need to flee when they show up. You don't try and fight them when they catch you, and then you won't get the shit kicked out of you. And if you're too stupid to comprehend that because you believe the lies or you think the liberals got your back or whatever other stupid fucking thing is running through these illegal sacks of shit's minds, that's on you. That's a choice. Choices have consequences. I know leftists hate that shit. A lot of right-wing people hate that shit too, but that's the reality of the world. When you make a choice, it comes with consequences. And those consequences generally fucking suck. I mean, sometimes there's happy choices, sometimes there's good mistakes, but at the end of the day, no, consequences are a thing. And people who want to pretend like they're not are not your friends. They're not doing you any favors. They live in Delulu land. They live in a world where, again, everything should be free if it's something you want. These are the same assholes that are like, housing should be free. These are the same assholes that... It's just... I can't stand these people. Now, in happier news, it's kind of starting to look like the NFA might be on its way out the door. There's, there was some stuff, some of the claims that are going against it. It's where the state, the DOJ chose not to oppose the rulings that struck down certain parts of it, and things about silencers and suppressors, to be more accurate, and short barrel rifles. The NFA may be going the way of the fucking dodo, and that would make me infinitely happy for the simple fact of, if the NFA's gone, it will make the lawsuits against the state of Illinois that prevent me from having the things that are preventing me from having things like suppressors and short barrel rifles and the most standard, commonly used rifle in the fucking country. Then, there's a better chance of those laws getting struck down and me being able to protect my fucking hearing if I have to, discharge a firearm in my fucking house. Because contrary to what the movies tell you, suppressors do not make guns silent. They make them sound about the same as a fucking jackhammer. Liberal retards don't understand that. Fuds and middle-of-the-road retards don't understand that. People who've never been around a suppressor, even people who claim to be Second Amendment supporters, who say, oh, well, I can understand why they need to keep silencers illegal because then the criminals use them and they make guns more dangerous. No, you fucking retards, they're PPE, personal protective equipment. They protect your fucking ears. And even with a suppressor, it's still loud enough to do damage after an extended exposure. It's not like you can just sit there and spray a bajillion rounds and be fine after that. Anyway, yeah, there's good things happening in terms of that, and it's kind of looking like this administration might let the NFA die, and that would be a good thing for the Second Amendment. And it's one of those things. I am a Second Amendment absolutist. You ask me how to am I grenades, tanks, mortars, fucking actually, you can still own a cannon legally, I think, in all 50 states. I may try and see about getting like a 35 millimeter recoilless rifle. I just want to see. I just want the rights to have the guns that the criminals get picked up with on a regular basis. I want a right to have the weapons that my tax dollars pay to put in the hands of terrorists and fucking trans youth. I want to be able to go to the store. I want to be able to pick up a carton of cigarettes, a dozen eggs, and a fucking machine gun. The way the founders intended. So it's yeah. I want what I want. It's it's when it's one of those things. It's one of the Second Amendment is considered a right enshrined in the Bill of Rights. And when you point that out to the retards who are screaming healthcare is a right, and they say, well, what that doesn't mean nobody's saying you can't have your guns. And they say, well, no, I want the government to pay for my guns because that's how having a right works, right? The government should pay for your healthcare. The government should pay for my fucking firearms. And then you can sit there and watch their brains implode because they're fucking dummies and I don't like them. Anyway, so yeah, what else happened this week that I was going to talk about? I can't think about it. Let's see. Last week, a local thing last week in Chicago, they had the Bud Bilkin Parade, which is one of the longest running historical, primarily African American parades in the country, and you wouldn't want to be surprised by this, but the thing that never happens, according to the leftists, happened again. They had the parade. Shit ton of fucking fights broke out. People were beating the piss out of everybody. It's just, it's it was another one of those things. It's like, oh, look, the thing that never happened again, and it's infuriating. I think that's actually all I got at the moment. My brain just did a burp, and I don't remember what it was. And yeah, so I don't know. I guess I will take a minute here now and look at the chat that I've been actively ignoring this entire time to see who's here and what's going on. Let's see. We've got Ken of Mad K Studios. Okay, that's right, Ken Madden, artist, friend of the show, wonderful human being. He's in the chat. JD's here. What up, JD? Good to see you, brother. The lovely Mrs. Aaron is in the chat. Let's see what else. Steve McShane of Razorwire. Cody, I don't know if you guys are still here, but I don't know who's, because again, I haven't been paying attention this entire time. And let's see, it says I got 5 viewers in the stream right now, so I'm assuming everybody's still here. So anyway, yeah, so hi guys, just looking here, let's see, Shauna's saying I should go get my bike. Yes, I agree, I should, but let's see, JD's talking about guns, Ken talking about guns. Yes. JD. My brain glitched. Let's see. Unmoderated podcast is here. Who fucking cares is my entire show. Yeah, I get you, man. That's the reality of the matter. Let's see. Force of Valor made partner this week. Oh, congratulations, brother. It's awesome. I'm glad you did it. Get people in there watching the shows. Let's see. Cody got told to apply for an AI role by his VP. That's awesome. Cool for you. Congratulations, man. Duchess is here. JD's here. Ken's here. So anyway, yeah. Yes, JD. It is a nice hat, actually. It wasn't a free hat, but it was a nice hat. And Kate, I'm glad to see you could pop in and join us. Apparently there were no shows on hiatus that you needed to ignore at the moment, so thanks for joining me. Yeah. And again, like I said, this mug is fucking awesome. This is my new podcasting mug / Sunday morning mug, because this is a big ass mug. I mean, you can't see my face when I'm drinking out of it. Oh, geez, Shauna. Okay, so if you are looking for shit that makes your house smell better, if you don't want to smell like one of those sweaty fat bitch liberals that I was talking about earlier that probably smells like fucking cat piss and BO, then you should probably go over to barenakedhandcraftedcandles.com and get you some of the finest hand-poured crafted candles available in a variety of scents. I'm pretty sure that Shauna's got like 125 in the fucking catalog right now. I mean, like, it's a ridiculous amount of options that you can put in there. And so, so go over to barenakedhandcraftedcandles.com. You can get small candles, big ass fucking cement 3-pound behemoths that you could use to kill a fucking cat. Wax melts, room sprays, car air fresheners. Actually, the car air fresheners are pretty cool. Shauna made me one for her testing project thing. And it's like... It's a little glass vial with the scent stuff in it. It's got the essential oils and the dilution and stuff. And the top's like a balsa wood kind of thing. And you tip it upside down and the oil infuses in the wood. And then it makes a car smell really cool. And Shauna made it in my favorite flavor, where it was library scent. So it smells like old books and leather and just a little hint of tobacco in there. I think she put in there because that's just how I like it. But yeah, no, I mean, I know I'm biased because, I get to hang out with the chick who makes them, but I mean, they really do smell really fucking good. And let's see, JD says I should put something on the bottom of the mug. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I mean, we could do a Let's Go Brandon on there, but I don't know. I need to go. I feel like I need to go off. Maybe I'll put an Ember Forge sticker on the bottom or something so I can plug myself when I'm taking a sip. You know, for all the people in the live stream who don't know about that little venture. But anyway, so let's see what else. Ken says they're amazing. Yeah, I agree, Ken. They're really cool things. Let's make Mustafar candle. It could be volcanic, spicy, and a little bit like crispy bacon. Yeah, that would be accurate. Sulfur, bacon, and hate. I mean, I don't know how to bottle hate, but there's got to be a way to go. How's the spice thing going? Spice thing. Here's an update for you guys. I'm just waiting on the labels. To be honest, it's the spices. You know, they will be going out next. Well, I don't know, before the 30th. So sometime probably next week they will be getting shipped. They may, I mean, they're all going to say, you know, not packaged for individual retail sale or something on that to just, you know, kind of indemnify myself from any legal stuff because they're not in the final packaging. If I don't have the stickers this week, I'm going to print up something here as a, you know, a rough idea of what it's going to look like when the finalized ones show up. But they will be going out before the end of the month. So, figure I got 7 days from Sunday to get to the end of the month. So sometime next week, everything will be going out. And there's actually going to be, for the people who did the like highest tier supporter level of donation on my Kickstarter, there's actually going to be a 5th spice blend coming out. You guys are going to be my lab rats, my test monkeys. That's going to be the collaboration spice made with Clockham Craft Coffee. It's a steak rub using Clockham. No, Lisa, it's not a Ziploc baggie. I promise you, they're actual commercial Mylar bags that are heat sealed, and it is going to be an unidentified substance in it because just because it's you, I'm gonna send you a big bag of white powder and an angry letter, and just so the post office might think it's anthrax. It's going to be powdered sugar, or I'm sorry, powdered sugar alternative. It's going to be Swerve. It's going to be powdered Swerve, but so that way you'll be able to use it for something if you want to. And Swerve is animal safe in case in case Potato Susie gets into it, it'll not kill her. But yeah. So no, like I said, the packages will be labeled. They will be, you know, you'll know which one is which. You'll know what you're getting. But it may not be the final printed label. It may be the right image, but the wrong materials, if that makes any sense. Because I've got vinyl transfers coming and like the logo stickers that everybody's supposed to get with their thing. And you know, but that's all. And that may be following separately with the stickers and everything I promised, and the little thank you note and the recipe cards and the suggestion cards. I have little detail stuff that needs to get polished, but like I said, the spices are done. The spices are good. The spices are ready to go. I just got to get the other stuff. And yeah, you could put some Swerve on the deer head's snout, or you could, you know, put it on the deer's butt. I mean, whichever works. You know, because that's a thing. So anyway, okay, I have been sitting here trying really hard to think of something cool to do for a recipe while I've been running my yap for the last hour and, well, 40 minutes, whatever. I don't know, 53 minutes according to the recording count. So yeah, it's almost an hour. And I was thinking a fun little thing to do since we did water and things like that. When Aaron does fuck up and forget to bring recipes, let's talk about making butter. Making butter's actually really fucking simple. You can do it the old-fashioned way. You can churn it. You can put it in a mason jar and just make it in a mason jar. it's actually it's a if you got the time and you got nothing better to do, you can actually do a lot of really cool shit with it. You can make the butter using the spice blends that I'm going to be sending out to season the butter while you're making it, and then you will actually have like an infused butter. It's it's a compound butter, but it's just kind of skipping the step of melting the butter, folding the spices into it, and then refirming it. Because all you got to do is get yourself some heavy whooping cream and whip the ever-loving shit out of it. I mean, like, you can whip it until it becomes whipped cream, and then if you add a little sugar and a little vanilla to it, you have a lovely dessert. Or you can whip the living fuck out of it until it stiffens up and the butter solids separate out from the whey, and then you've got your butter and you've got your buttermilk, which you can actually, if you want to do that, you can take your butter solids once you've whipped them to the point where the liquid starts to separate out of them. You put them in a cheesecloth and squeeze the rest of the shit out of them, and you get your dry solid butter, and then you got your buttermilk, which is the leavings from when you make your whooping cream into butter. Now, you can, like I said, you can also do that with a whisk. You can do it with a churn. You can do it with a mason jar if you just pour it into the mason jar with a little bit of room in there, and then just shake the fuck out of it. Now, I know that because years ago I was chaperoning a field trip with our kid, and we went to like Amish Village, or it's actually called Naperville Settlement here, or Napier Settlement, and they had the kids go around and they handed them a mason jar and they passed the jar around and took turns shaking it until their hands got tired, and then they passed it along and shook it and passed it along and shook it until it got to be butter. And Alex and his friends thought that was cool, and we wound up making homemade butter at the house like 3 or 4 separate times, because if you don't make it too stiff, it's actually really spreadable. And then the kids liked it because, oh, it's fresh and we made it and now it tastes delicious. And the funny thing is, like, if you do that, don't add any salt to it, you have unsalted butter. You add a teaspoon of salt to a quart of whipped cream, you have salted butter. You can adjust the degree of salt in your salted butter. You can add other shit to your butter while you're making it, which a lot of people don't stop and think about. You can make sweet butters. You can make savory butters. You can make butters that are spreadable. You can make butter that's got fucking garlic and jalapenos in it if you fucking want to. You can literally do anything you want when you're doing these things. And that's one of the things I really love about food. That's one of the things that lets me get stupid creative and allows me to indulge my really just skewed, warped love of doing things. And it incorporates, a degree of chemistry, a degree of science to things, a degree of art to things, where you can just come up with shit. And it's literally, you can do anything. There's nothing out there stopping you. And then it becomes a whole thing. And yeah, Shauna says she remembers me chaperoning the trip, and then the teachers always wanted me to chaperone. She's not wrong. I mean, this is not like a humble brag thing. Yes, Cody, we're still going to make Oreolio. I haven't been to Costco since last week. I haven't been there yet to go get the ingredients to make Oreolio. We're going to do it. It's going to be a fucking thing. I promise you. It's going to happen. Like I said, we may have to come up with a better name for it so Nabisco doesn't sue us, but that's for down the road. So anyway, but yeah, Shauna's not wrong when she says that the teachers wanted me to chaperone trips after, like, every time there was a field trip after that, it was like, hey, is, Mr. Aaron going to be available to chaperone this trip? And sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But the thing is, the teachers liked me chaperoning because they always gave me the more rambunctious of the boys to chaperone, because saying rambunctious is being generous in a lot of cases. They gave me the little demon seed, the semen demons that were out there causing trouble and drove every single mom that chaperoned a trip with them absolutely fucking nuts. And it's, I didn't have that problem. I had no problem controlling these rambunctious little boys, with the exception of my fucking own, who occasionally would just show his ass for no apparent reason. Not literally, but I just mean act out. But yeah, it becomes a case of, here's the 6 problem kids that are going to be a problem. I know every other chaperone only has 4 kids, but we're giving you the 6 boys that need to be fucking maintained, that are going to run around. They all have ADHD. They're all fucking cracked up on sugar and energy drinks, and we're going to give them to you because for some goddamn reason they listen when you start talking. Well, I don't know if the teachers ever found out the secret of why the kids listened when I said something, is because my kid went around and told them all, oh yeah, my dad will hit somebody else's kids. He'll whoop your ass. He's not kidding. And so apparently they all thought they were going to catch hands if they didn't fucking act right. So that, that was a thing. And yes, for whatever reason, whether the teachers knew that was the case or not, they had no problem asking me to come back and chaperone other trips. So I got to go to some cool stuff. I got to go to Napier Settlement. I got to go to the Brookfield Zoo. I don't remember what else we did. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was, a nice part of, being a parent when we were kids and, all that fun stuff. So anyway, I think that's about all I got. It's been an hour. I'm going to reference the chat here real quick. Does anybody have a thing that they want to know? I'm going to keep trying to talk so we don't have any dead air here, because again, I'm just going to be lazy this week and throw this episode up again, because I need to figure out some shit with OBS here, because after all the trouble I went to set up my software last week, when I opened it up this week, none of my presets were saving, so I had to deal with resetting everything right before, so I could get the title card and the scene card and the closing card and set up all the inputs, and I still have to readjust the levels and all this other stuff. So I need to go back and do those things. But it's still up, it's still working, it still runs like a greased up deaf guy. So once again, yes, fuck you, Bill Gates. Windows was the problem. It's running solid as can be in Linux. Other than just some of the software is not as useful as the Windows version is. It doesn't have as much love. Like the Windows version of OBS, literally I could have the Restream docked in the window, so I could have the chat and everything open over here, so I wouldn't have to keep looking over here to see what's over there, because I have to keep looking over here. Although I suppose I could put it on over here, because this is a big fucking monitor, and all I'm seeing right now on this monitor is me. I mean, I can see the stuff behind me, and I can see me because it's the camera and it's the monitor of what I look like. And I should probably have that over here and have the chat over there, which would make more fucking sense. And I'll have to remember that for next week. But anyway, let's see, okay, so Cody asks if I have a body count. No, I did not actually have to kill any of the kids. Ken said, after you throw the first one in the lake, the others behave. Yeah, that's more or less what it boils down to. When you pick one kid up and dangle him over the fucking perimeter of the fucking enclosure, the rest of them stop acting up really fast. On the other hand, I did have two of these particular kids, and it was funny actually on the zoo field trip. The one kid who the teachers told me was going to be a problem, and he was going to run off and wander off, and I'd have to be chasing him around the friggin' zoo all day. That kid was stuck to my ass like it was made out of Velcro. He was attached to me at the fucking hip all day. And as much as I talk, this kid did not shut up the entire day. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I mean, he had a lot of baggage. He had a lot of shit going on. He told me all of it because apparently he needed a guy to listen to him. And I'm not saying it in any kind of bad way, shape, or form, but man, that kid had a lot of shit to unload. And by the time the trip was over, I was just like, dude, you're like 9. What the fuck? But yeah, like I said, I didn't have a single second of problem with him, even though apparently for every other chaperone in the history of forever, this kid was a problem. So, yeah, I guess I'm a good chaperone. Ken's got to run. So yeah, thanks for popping in, brother. Good to have you here. Go do the things. And anyway, like I said, unless anybody else has anything else they want to pop up in the chat in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to put a pin in it. So we're going to do that. I'm going to take a couple breaths here and run my yap for a couple more seconds to see if anybody's got anything else they want to say. And if not, I'm going to put a pin in it and say, for now, that's what I had to say.